Welcome to Midcard Maniacs. I'm Jay.
And I'm John.
And today we're doing our Royal Rumble 2021 predictions. Yeah. We're going to start off with the Women's Tag Team Championship between Asuka and Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I think this is a no-brainer. I think the champions retain because Charlotte and Asuka are amazing. And while I like Shayna Baszler, there's no way Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are winning. It's going to be a very quick match. I don't think it's going to take any time.
I think they're going to actually not retain. I think Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are going to win due to shenanigans from Lacey Evans causing a Charlotte Flair distraction of some sort, leaving Asuka alone. Asuka's going to have to defend her title at WrestleMania. If this gives Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler a chance to go up against new opponents of some sort, then you just get Lacey versus Charlotte. You begin the build on that.
I really hope that doesn't happen, but it makes a lot of sense, especially with the Lacey Evans, Ric Flair weirdness that we saw on Raw. At least we'll see some Ric Flair in action at the Royal Rumble. Not in action, but maybe slowly grinding Lacey Evans at some point.
Hopefully we can actually get Asuka into some proper storyline development as like the Raw champion. Like, she's the best. I don't know why it's so hard to book her properly in WWE. Whether you want to make her a comedy act or like a serious contender, just give her something.
I predict that at WrestleMania, she's going to be so fed up with how shit's going, she goes back to her evil ways and returns as Kana, and then takes on Alexa Bliss. But that's not happening, but that would be great. Next up, I think this one's actually the most predictable of the whole card. It's Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. The rumor mills have been running forever on this one. We think that we're gonna be getting Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at Mania. So I think, unfortunately, Drew McIntyre will lose to Goldberg, and Goldberg will become the new champ.
If you remember correctly, a certain wrestler by the name of Goldberg happened to have taken the title off of someone around this time last year to have his WrestleMania match. Yeah, I think Goldberg's gonna take the title. There's absolutely no reason for him to come back other than to be the champion at WrestleMania. See, this is where it all falls apart. If you want Reigns versus Goldberg, you want Spear versus Spear, are you saying, what, Kevin Owens is going to take the title off of Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble 2? That way Reigns enters the Royal Rumble as like last opponent to like go and have his shot to go after Goldberg. You gotta let the rumors just be rumors. I think Goldberg is still gonna take this title because it's too silly not to have him not be the champion.
That leads into the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens in a last man standing match.
Kevin Owens is gonna take it. I actually really want Kevin Owens to take it. As much as I love Roman's new character, I just feel as though there's a lot more opponents for Kevin Owens to challenge for that title, because I don't think whoever's winning the Rumble is gonna go for this belt. The only way that will happen is Daniel Bryan wins the Rumble to take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
True. Then what does Goldberg do?
Goldberg versus Edge, the real Spear versus Spear.
That would be the slowest pace match. Okay, I'm gonna also go with Kevin Owens because why not? Give it to Kevin Owens. He can make something different happen.
We're gonna go back a couple years, and you have Kevin Owens as the Universal Champion with Chris Jericho as his best friend as the US champion, and there's tension building which is going towards this potential WrestleMania match with Kevin Owens as the champ and Chris Jericho as a challenger. But Goldberg took the title off of Kevin Owens and they no longer main evented, and like Goldberg is this like thorn in your foot when it comes to Royal Rumble season. This could be that redemption moment for Kevin Owens, finally getting to like main event WrestleMania as a champion, as he should have years ago against Chris Jericho. Whoever he faces isn't going to be the same as the Jericho feud that was so high and full of potential, but I think Kevin Owens deserves it, and I would love to see Kevin Owens going into WrestleMania as champ.
Now, what we're all here for, the Rumble matches. We'll kick it off with the women's match, which would likely open the show. Who do we think is winning the Rumble? And then we'll talk about like who we think is going to enter.
It should either be Bayley, Alexa Bliss,
Returning Becky Lynch.
or Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair would be great. She is awesome, and it would be so good.
I would say Alexa Bliss, hands down. But she's just stuck in a really dumb storyline right now that it's hard to believe her winning the Rumble.
No, I think Belair makes the most sense, and I think that the fans are all behind that decision too. She made like a really big impact at War Games, and I was like, oh, they need to push her to the moon, and then they they started to, and then they reined it back, and then we didn't see her for a while. And now it's time. Like, she's finally getting a little bit more traction, and I think it would be great.
Can I just say, like, we need an iconic moment in the Rumble. We need Billie Kay and Peyton Royce to be in there together. We need them to like
rekindle
things. Like,
yes.
You need to do it. As much as I think it's hilarious seeing the stuff Billie Kay is doing on SmackDown with the Riot Squad, they're wasting an opportunity here with Peyton Royce and wasting an opportunity with Billie Kay.
They work best together, and if they weren't gonna give Peyton her singles opportunity and like actually like capture a title and put her in like main event level stuff, then keep her in Iconics. That's what people want. And I think this would be a great opportunity for that. Aside from that, who's going to be dancing around the ring? Is it going to be Casey? Is it going to be Naomi? Who's going to do like the weird, you got thrown out, now you have to do something wacky to like stand on your hands.
Forget wacky. We already know what's going to happen. Last year we had the greatest moment in the world when Otis saved Mandy Rose. We're going to get a similar thing this year with Carmella and Reginald.
That's not going to get the same pop as...
I don't know. She may not even be in the Rumble. We don't even know yet because we're filming this before SmackDown. We're probably getting like either pre-show or mystery match of Banks versus Carmella for the title on this card, and she's not even going to be in the Rumble. I don't think there's going to be like the crazy moment this year.
So for surprise entrance, I don't even think like many of them are going to be surprises at this point. I would imagine Beth Phoenix we'll see come down.
Yeah, you'll see like
Trish. Or pop off like commentary and go in. Trish Stratus,
Trish Stratus or Lita or like Maurice, like someone like that. Melina was on like the anniversary show, so maybe.
I think I can speak for most of the wrestling community other than John. I'd love it if Santino does not appear because it was the most fucking frustrating thing I've ever seen.
You're right, you don't speak for me. I love Santino and everything he does. And if Miss WrestleMania wants to make her appearance, I'm for it. Now, we talked about like logistically, but who do you really want to win the Rumble? Like if you could have any of the women's roster win the Rumble, who would it be?
Without having to think of like any actual like story progression of any sort, well, it would be between Shotzi and Cora Jade, who just signed, which is Elena Black. It's not gonna happen, but that's who I would want. But I think, no, Shotzi I think is deserving because she's wild. Maybe she gets thrown out, lands on her tank, and then jumps back out. Oh, that would be good stuff.
I mean, we talked about Peyton Royce, that would be mine, but I think Liv Morgan. I would like to see Liv Morgan do something, and I like Liv. She's underappreciated.
All right, now moving on to the men's Rumble. I don't know who I want to actually win.
So if you're looking at our potential 4 champions, who do you think would win storyline-wise?
So we are going to have potentially Kevin Owens,
Goldberg,
or
Reigns, or McIntyre.
Daniel Bryan makes the most sense, I think, because he was going to put on a good match with all of the above. And he's the kind of person that you don't need to build a massive storyline around for everyone to appreciate what's going to happen.
There's 2 people who should technically win this thing. Daniel Bryan is one of them, and Edge is the other. But another person who I think would be really interesting to see them win and could put on a great match with any of them, Keith Lee.
That would be awesome. Yes, do it.
I feel like one of those 3, storyline-wise, would be slotted for that. Or returning John Cena as our final 4.
I would be okay with that. I'd love to see Goldberg now try and jackhammer Keith Lee.
It ain't happening.
I want to see it. I think Cena will show up. I think if he shows up, he wins it.
Now, this would be the greatest Royal Rumble ever. And I'm not talking about that really bad Saudi Arabian show. I'm talking about the greatest Royal Rumble ever if you leave some surprise entrants, one of them being John Cena, and then the other being The Rock. Because you think John Cena is going to win because he's back, he's got to win, he's John Cena. But then number 29 is The Rock. And The Rock leads to Roman Reigns, head of the table.
I will jump out of my seat if fucking The Rock comes. Oh, please. Because that would be such a great, like, cap to that whole storyline.
They could do a full-on cinematic Samoan wrestling match somewhere like they did like with the Boneyard match with AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Could you just imagine them like on the island? The special effects would be crazy.
I don't want to see that.
No, you don't.
Moana is Wrestle Moana.
As the show finishes, he just sings a song, "You're welcome." Just like we did with the women's, I'm curious, put all stories, everything aside, who do you want to win the Royal Rumble?
I think Keith Lee is definitely one that I would love to see win. Karrion Kross is somebody that I'd like to see kind of just dominate. I think that would be awesome. Or even like Ciampa. I know that Ciampa has been pretty like, nah, I want to stay like NXT and stuff, but this could be a good moment for him to like change his mind.
Ciampa would be crazy. Like seeing him or Gargano just up there would be like a mind-blowing, but we know it's never going to happen. Even like with Cole too. But I've got my 3 in mind that I would love to see in the Rumble. So the first is Sami Zayn, because I love Sami Zayn and he just deserves everything. And it doesn't matter who he goes against, he's gonna make it work. Same can be said with Cesaro. I would love for Cesaro to have this moment. Again, anyone who's champion, he's gonna make look good and he's gonna put on a great match. If I'm talking storyline wise, Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business. I would love to see MVP celebrating in the ring with Bobby Lashley to like close the show, because I love the Hurt Business.
There might be a couple other matches thrown onto this card. We just saw Riddle go through the gauntlet of the Hurt Business, just saying. Because he could go for go against Lashley for the title before. Who knows? What do you guys want to see? Who do you want to win? The match card I've put in like the pinned comment. But what I want to know most importantly is who you want to see as surprise entrants, because that's always the fun of the Royal Rumble, is you're always waiting for that countdown and we want to see those surprises. And you know there's going to be at least a few on both the women's and the men's side. Let us know in the comments, like this video, and if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything Midcard Maniacs.